If cold approach feels terrifying, it's because you're making this very simple mistake. Now, in this video, I will explain exactly why cold approach feels so scary for most guys, and more importantly, how to fix it. Okay? Now, let's just dive right on in. First, actually, let me give you the background. Who am I? Who is this guy, and why should I listen to him? My name is Alan Woods. I'm a dating coach, and I used to be absolutely horrified of approaching women. I moved out to Tempe, Arizona back in 2022. Yeah, 2022, just for the sole purpose of meeting more women because I knew that it was a college town that had so many beautiful girls. And I got there and I was at ASU and I was trying to approach girls, but I was too scared. I would walk around campus all day and I was too terrified to talk to anybody. I was terrified. And fast forward to now, a couple years later, I have approached hundreds of women and I'm dating, an Estonian model right now. I'm like, it's completely transformed. Okay, so that's my experience. But anyways, let's dive in. So there's a couple main issues here. If you are terrified of approaching women, it comes down to two key mistakes. Number one is that I want you to imagine that you were going up to approach a girl, but not romantically. No, you were going over to just give her $100 or to give a random person $100. Or you were running up to help a girl because you saw someone flying at her on a motorcycle and you wanted to push her out of the way. Would you be scared? Would you feel bad about giving her $100 or running up to save her from the motorcycle that's flying at her? Probably not, right? And the thing here is that when we feel as though we are bringing value into a situation or to a person, well, then we no longer feel as though we're doing something bad or as though we'll be judged. And if we are judged, we feel that we'll be judged in a positive manner, so we're actually excited to do whatever that thing is. Imagine you're standing outside of Walmart all day and you're asking people to sign a document. Well, you'll probably be a little bit nervous. But if you're standing outside of Walmart and just giving away $100 to every person who walks by, you'll be happy. Now, not about giving away your money, but about making them happy. Now you're excited. And so how does this carry over into approaching and why you're terrified about approaching women? Well, how it carries over is very simple. Most men have this limiting belief deep in their mind that they're not good enough, that they'll be judged, and ultimately that they're just not a man who brings value into the woman's life. Because the fact of the matter is that if you genuinely believed deep down in your heart that you were a quality man and that she is getting the chance to meet you, well, then you would be excited to meet her. Because again, it's the same as giving away the money. It's the same as saving her from the motorcycle that's coming at her. You are bringing value into her life. But most men have these deeply entrenched, limiting beliefs, toxic beliefs, that something innately about them is wrong. Or that they should be ashamed of their masculine desires to meet beautiful women. So you have to do the deeper identity work. That's step one, is fixing these deeply held identity beliefs, okay? And until you fix those, like you're gonna be pretty stuck, even if you do step two. Step two, I'll explain in a second. And it's powerful and it's really helpful for getting results in the short term. But for getting results in the long term, you have to do step one. You have to fix the identity. And I dive deeper into that in my coaching. So if you want the specific roadmap for doing that, then book a call down below and we can dive deep into how to psychologically reframe your identity and your beliefs about yourself using, again, a scientific approach, a step-by-step guided approach. If you want to fix that once and for all, then book a call down below, completely free. But anyways, in short, some of the simpler ways to do that is by building a more full life, building a social life, building up evidence to yourself, small stacking evidence that you are a valuable man, getting into the gym, building a more full life, meeting other women who appreciate you and have fun with you so that you can see that you're not just some low status man who women don't want to be around. You need to give your brain evidence that you are a man that women enjoy. Now, again, there's a much deeper science to it that I go into in my coaching.
Listen, man, if you're serious about fixing your dating life and finally having the confidence, finally getting your dream girl, well, I built a step-by-step blueprint that's gonna walk you through every step of the way to meeting your dream girl in person or online. We fix everything for you using a science-backed protocol. Now listen, man, we have a very simple 10x guarantee. If you buy this blueprint and in the next 30 days, your dating life doesn't at least 10x increase, well then ask for a refund, keep the course, and we'll send you your money back. And I'll tell you the truth, man. This is the exact same blueprint that I used to charge my one-on-one clients $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for. And they still thought it was a bargain. I mean, my client met, he went from no dates in 6 years to 3 dates in his first week and a half, and now he's dating his dream girl. Or my client Aaron, he went from no dates in a year and almost giving up on dating and being blackpilled to 15 dates in his first month. So listen, man, if you're ready to stop getting ghosted, stop getting ignored, finally master dating apps in person and your own self-confidence, I will teach you all of that in the blueprint. Link is down below. Go buy that right now. It will change your life. I promise you that. It changed my life, and I want to save you 10 years and change yours. Okay? Link down below. Back to the video.
Now, if on the quick, the short and sweet of it is to become more valuable at your identity level, to believe deeply within yourself that you bring value to the table. Okay? Now that's the first step. Now, secondly, this is such a powerful hack for getting past the fear of approach. And it is simply not approaching. Now, I'm not saying to be that guy on the sidelines that just stares at her like a creep. She's so beautiful. I want her. And then goes home and watches porn. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that a lot of guys, when they approach, and I used to do this myself, and I've learned since then, but a lot of guys, when they approach, they immediately give her all the value. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're gorgeous. You look so amazing. And she's instantly placed on this pedestal. And because she hasn't had a chance to see any value in you yet, well, then at that point, she just subconsciously rejects you, not because you're a bad guy or not because you're unattractive, but because female attraction works very differently from male attraction. Male attraction is largely physical based. Female attraction is largely contextual and personality based. What traits do you display as a man? And if you just go up to her and say, oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're not displaying all of the right traits as a man. You're displaying confidence, which is good. You're displaying boldness, which is good, but you're also displaying certain unattractive traits, okay? So the better way to approach that also works to get you to stop being terrified is to go up and ask a question or make an observation. Don't comment on how beautiful she is. Don't comment on how gorgeous she is. No, maybe she has something in her grocery basket as she's shopping and you notice it and you're like, hey, I'm looking for that in the store. Well, where is it? And then from there she responds. And then now the conversation is open. And again, because of the fact that you weren't so direct about your desire for her, well, it felt easier for you because you're not having to state your sexual desires, but you're also not putting her on this pedestal. And then from there, it's like a Trojan horse. Now that the conversation is opened, and the hardest part is opening the conversation, but now that the conversation is opened and you didn't have to be super direct about it, well, now you slowly subvert and go into being more direct. And again, I teach this in my coaching. I go deep, deep, deep into the psychology behind this and how to do it effectively without having to even think about it. Like, it's so simple, but that's in the coaching. But long story short, at that point, once the conversation has been opened, well, again, you've gotten past the fear because you didn't have to embrace fear because you did it in a very subtle manner and the conversation is now opened. And then from there, you slowly switch gears and you comment on the fact that she is attractive. But again, you do this after you've had a chance to open the conversation and after she's had a chance to see some value in you. So you comment on the fact that she's attractive, and then you don't stop there. You don't leave that awkward silence, oh, you're so cute, and then force her to sit there in the tension and respond to that. No, you drop it in there and you keep on moving, okay? And as soon as you drop it in there and keep on moving, well, from there you you disqualify her. You're not trying to prove yourself. You're poking at her. You're teasing her. You're getting her to qualify herself to you. So at a high level, again, this process is very simple. Like, if you want to get past the fear of approaching, number one is you need to see yourself as a higher value person, which comes down to a deep identity level and beliefs level transformation. But secondly, you can not approach. You cannot directly state your intentions and get in the door through the Trojan horse method. And then once you're in, well, then just slowly dig in deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay? And it's funny because, like, this method, it actually works better than being super direct, especially if you're not a stereotypically like really handsome guy. If you're just a normal looking guy and you don't have like the greatest physique yet or the greatest social status or like amazing things going on about you, well, then a woman, when you code approach her and are super direct, well, then again, her immediate barrier is going to pop up and she's going to say, I have a boyfriend. But if you tiptoe in the door and get her to open up to you a little bit and then switch directions, well, now you have the chance to appeal more to the female sense of attractiveness, which is much more based on your personality and much more based on the context of who you are as a man. And now she's had some time to warm up to you, and now you can hook her in. There's this interesting, there's a bunch of studies that dive deep into this, actually. One of the studies in particular was by some psychologists, Finkel and Eastwick, I believe are their names. But basically they had a study where there were a bunch of women and men going on speed dates. And they had the women rate the men's attractiveness before and after a 4-minute speed date. And what they found out is that before the speed date, women rated about 22% of men as being attractive enough for a second date. Before the speed date, they only rated 22% of men as being attractive. Now, after only a 4-minute speed date, well, after that, the women rated 46% of the men as being attractive enough for a second date. Now, again, the men didn't change at all physically, but the women had a chance to see their personality, their drive, their ambition, their charisma, and get a bit attached to them. So how does this relate back to code approach? Well, again, if you're going into a code approach and immediately saying, oh, you're so gorgeous and you're so beautiful, yes, that can work. And I've done it successfully many times in the past. It does work. But it's not the most effective approach, especially for guys who aren't extremely attractive. The most effective approach is to ask something that gets the door open and then to use the Trojan horse to switch routes, okay? Because again, female attraction is much more heavily influenced, much more heavily swayed by who you are as a man, your personality, your ambition, your charisma, all of that. And she can't see that only based on your appearance, okay? So I don't want to dive too deep into this stuff. That's what coaching is for. But hopefully that makes some sense. If you use this stuff, it will be a game changer. I promise you, it's been a game changer for me, for my clients, for everybody who I've taught this stuff. It's dangerous, deadly. But that's the high and tight, the short and sweet of how to stop feeling so much fear about going out to do code approaches. You just change your identity, change your beliefs, and stop approaching. You're just asking her a question. There's this movie, I forget what it's called, but it basically says that all you need is 30 seconds of confidence to change your entire life. And it was a movie that I watched like back when I was like 14 or 15. It's like a movie about like a zoo or something. I forget what it's called, but it's a really good movie. And I took that quote to heart like way back when I was 14, 15 years old. And I've kept that in my mind for like the decade since then. Decade plus since then, I'm old. And what I've realized is that, yes, having that confidence is great. Like if you can have the confidence to go approach a girl, code, it can completely change the direction of your life. Like code approaching that one girl can lead to a relationship that lasts for months, years. I mean, it could lead to your eventual wife, to kids and a loving family. Like it can lead to so much. And yes, you can try to just brute force it and try to make it so, like, just become that man who just has so much confidence and so much willpower and can just overcome that massive wall of fear that stops you from code approaching. That's one option. Or you can just not code approach and you can just ask a question. And then backdoor your way in. Yes, make yourself stronger, but also make the task easier. Do both, okay? So anyways, that's the video, gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some value out of this. And I will see you guys on the next one. God bless. Godspeed. Let's conquer.